Welcome to the Screen Rot Podcast, the podcast where we discuss the weirdest and worst content that's been rotting our screens and indeed our minds. I'm here with Jake Farrell.
When I saw you, girl, from across the room, you had your eyes on me, I had my eyes on you.
So this is the second episode in a row we've been doing that. First episode, we did quite a long riff on them not having any money, and I'm projecting forward, but I think we'd have had a death threat.
We'll have had some kind of death threat
yeah.
from a member of the entourage of DJ Lack and
Stop me
MCD.
talking about my bank statement. I'll come to your house, murder you and your family.
I really love the way that time interacts with these episodes, because when people listen back to them, they don't have as clear a sense, even though we sometimes refer to it, that like the last week's episode just happened.
Yeah.
But we talk about it all the time.
Yeah,
so we're like, oh, we just talked about that thing. But for anyone listening, they would have been like, what the fuck are they talking about?
There's been a week since I've heard anyone do an impression of
DJ Lack
and MCD.
Yeah.
Yes, indeed. So this will be going out in mid-March.
Yes.
The tour will have begun. You'll have come with me to both Brighton and Cambridge at this point, I think.
Can't wait.
But there'll be more dates that Jake will be coming to, blah, 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 my socials, website, all that business. Dense, love it. Is there one more thing we usually talk about?
Usually talk about your
Jose
dodgy
Jr.?
ticker. Yeah,
Shout
Jose
out
Jr.
Jose.
playing a gig in New York, probably this week. Get on it. Find him on socials.
And so now I want to talk about, and this would have been a while ago when this comes out, you and I had a little night out.
We did.
Friend of ours, Josh Dolphin, our dear friend Josh, turned 30.
What a man.
And I think it's quite a funny thing because Josh is one of those who, he lives in London.
Yeah.
I think he hates London.
Join the club.
And I think, he did a few bits with like a few various different groups of mates, but then like he wanted to do something with us lot.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he picked St. John's, the restaurant.
Yes.
I'm 99% sure he picked it because you go there.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? I really think he thought to himself, Jake likes going out for a meal.
Yeah.
And that kind of ties into what we're talking about.
Yeah.
But Jake likes going out for a decent meal with his wife.
Mm.
Where does he like to go?
Yeah.
You love St. John's.
Yes.
So he picked St. John's.
Yeah. Great honour.
Well, yeah. I've never been to St. John's before.
No.
Wasn't quite prepared for the...
We went to the new one in Marylebone.
Went to the new one in Marylebone. St. John's, for anyone who doesn't know, sort of expensive. It's a lot of offal, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's sort of, nowadays that's a kind of trendy thing, isn't it? To do like those cuts of meat.
Yeah. And so this is really apropos of who we're about to talk about in a minute in terms of what's your favourite restaurant and stuff. Because like I read an article about these people where they were saying like, what does it say about you based on which restaurant you pick as your favourite?
So what do these guys think it would say about you to say that St. John's is your favourite?
It's not good.
Really? Well,
they think that it means you like fancy yourself as a bit of an intrepid eater because you're willing to have offal and stuff like that.
Well, I mean, I wasn't eating meat. I was just having fish while I was there. But I mean, it's like fucking a bit of hake on a bed of chickpeas. I'll be honest, I wasn't blown away by the food.
No.
Right? I also wasn't blown away by the mad maitre d'. Would you say?
I think he was just our waiter, yeah.
So basically, you lot had been down the pub beforehand,
Yes.
and you would like get there for 7. I got there early,
Yeah.
so I just went in and sat down. I didn't really know what to do, and I was basically you walked down the stairs and you thought I looked like a fucking lunatic.
Yeah.
Because I was sat there on my own in my Stein Ireland jumper.
Yeah, table of
arms
7.
crossed. I've got a real thing where I don't like phones at the dinner table. So
Yeah.
even when I'm waiting for you lot, I wasn't on my phone. So I just sat there with my arms crossed, just staring at this waiter because he wouldn't fucking serve me. We had this very sort of nice camp little guy called Sunil bopping around with his little bald head.
Yeah.
He wouldn't serve me a drink.
No.
I'm sat there doing my nut.
He thought you were from some kind of community assistance program or something.
Yeah,
didn't he?
yeah. He thought I was either like fresh out of prison and it's my first time eating a meal in 6 years, or like a mystery shopper who's taken it a bit too far. Or a hitman sent by what's that Lucky Chop restaurant? They sent someone to kill him. I just sat there. It wouldn't serve me. Then you lot turn up, get on the magnums of wine, didn't we? That was quite nice.
Large bottles
Quite
of red
enjoyed
wine, yeah,
that.
because there was 7 of us.
We did gifts for our friend. A lot of people. Did you get him a gift? You did. Did you bring anything?
I got him some vouchers for the IMAX.
Nice.
Gonna go and see Sci-Fi Movie Dune.
I got him a decent bottle of Plonk and some chocolates.
Yes.
Basically, our friend Josh, who we talk about, it was his birthday. Him and another pal of ours, Jack, they used to be like a comedy duo together.
Yes.
Both of them have now left comedy.
Uh-huh.
Josh is a teacher, but is very religious. Jack is a priest.
Jack is training to become a priest, yeah.
Jack's an Anglican priest.
Mm-hmm.
Josh was Anglican Church of England,
Yes.
has recently converted to Catholicism.
Yes.
So in what I think was a bit of a kind of like
Passive aggressive
shitty thing, Jack, Josh's best mate and former comedy double act partner, now priest of the Church of England, Jack got Josh a blessing from the Vatican and framed it. They got this huge, great, big fucking thing with the Pope's face.
Here you go, if you're so into Catholicism now.
Hey, you like the Pope, don't you? Have that then. You'll want that, won't you?
It was a lot.
Because you love him so much.
That's you're taking an if you love him so much, you're taking an. I think you're
frame
taking
it in your house.
You're taking an ungenerous.
Is that
view
not
of
what
it.
you want, man?
Yeah, I thought it was a gesture, an ecumenical gesture between the sects of Christianity.
Is it? Yeah, you could describe it like that.
You could describe it.
We
as
looked
shitty.
fucking mental.
We did look bad. I think that's the most
seven
important
blokes
thing.
and your wife,
Yeah.
getting hammered on magnums of red wine.
Yeah.
In
House
this
arrest, by
restaurant.
the way. We weren't going mental.
Well, we'll talk about the bill in a minute. Fucking a big framed picture of the Pope behind the birthday boy. Also, he's kind of like performing the role of someone who likes to eat at St. John's because he's never been there before. He's like, hello, can we have, we'll take 6 of the rare bits, please. In my mind, I'm like, fucking 200 quid, mate.
Have you confided in Josh about your impressions of the evening, or of him performing the role of someone that wanted to be there?
Yeah.
I thought he performed admirably.
Yeah, no, he did well, but he also didn't know what he was doing. He was also just like, we'll have one of everything, thanks, you know.
Well, and so my connection with connection. So my first person, one of my very good friends from university, who I lived with in London for the first 2 years I lived in London, he was the head wine buyer at St. John. Right. And we used to go there when we were fucking skint, and I didn't have a fucking clue that it was a good restaurant.
Well, because he'd give you freebies.
And he would get us heavily discounted St. John food. So I had this which I look back on incredibly fondly now, a time in my life where I had no money and had no concept of it being good or it being trendy or it being something that we wanted. We just went because it was where our mate worked and we'd had a lovely time and they always treated us very well. And that's my connection to it. But now it looks like I'm a fucking wanker.
Yeah, because everyone's like, where should we go for dinner? Joe, well, St. John's.
Yeah. Where do you go? I always go to St. John. That's where my mate, So that was it. It was a lovely evening. It was a mad evening.
Lovely
Pope
evening.
Francis watched over us while we ate.
His little brother did a difficult thing where he, at the end of the meal, he was like, I've not had quite so much as you. I haven't had the wine. Do you mind if I go a bit lower on the bill?
To be fair, I offered that to him.
Everyone's like, you.
I offered that to him because I felt terrible for him because he had I think he had 2 cans of beer while we were there. While everyone's like, we'll have another bottle of red, please.
I'd had 9 glasses of wine.
Jacob's teeth look like they're completely black. He's kissing Pope Francis through the glass.
Yeah, and I tell you what, I made the real error of when it was home time. We went to the pub for another one afterwards. Then it was home time. But then me and one of the other lads, Rob, on the way to the tube, spotted that there was a hotel open. Be like, another bottle.
I know.
Snuck in.
I couldn't believe that the next day when I heard that.
Fucking 1:45 in the morning, Thursday night as well. And we're just fucking sinking glasses of red.
I was working the next day and I was struggling.
Well, I went to hospital the next day. That's when I went in for my heart. I'm like black lips, fucking stinking of cigarettes, and the paramedics in the ambulance like, and how long have you felt like this, Mr. Hawley? I was like, since the bottle of fucking Cabernet Sauvignon last time. Blame Sir Neil, the matronny.
I've only eaten offal for the last 24 hours. Well, this is incredibly apropos for who we're doing today.
It leads into what we're talking about today.
Exactly the kind of people
what we're talking about today are, I mean, they're 2 guys, but there's one that you kind of know, because I think their whole thing is that one's behind the camera, one's in front of the camera. They're sort of foodie guys. They're
lifestyle,
online
London.
Lifestyle interviewer. They're basically just posh fucks.
Maybe the most heavily requested people in the history of Screen Rot, apart from
we've had a few people saying get these guys done, so they're getting it. This week we're talking Topjaw. Get on this.
Accent. I was trying to think of a DJ like an MC Leak lyric. I don't realise I didn't need one.
Aye.
Oh, you're going to do the whole podcast?
Get on.
I could do it as well if you want.
The reason I was quiet.
Stop doing that accent. My mummy doesn't like it when you do that accent.
I was going through countries in my head, be like, can't do that one, can't do that one. Northern Ireland would be all right. They're usually pretty
it's
chilled
funny,
out.
isn't it? You can do an impression of Northern Irish terrorists, but you can't do another. I could easily say the IRA are a legitimate political party, but you couldn't do it for. You couldn't do that for Al Qaeda if they're still about, could you? Don't do it. I could see you thinking, I could fucking do it. I'll do it right now.
Get on this.
All right.
Topjaw are two lads who run around the city talking about the most expensive food in an accent that is so posh that if they were playing a kind of Notting Hill Lothario in a Richard Curtis film from 20 years ago, Curtis would have had to be like, tone it down a bit. No one talks like that.
Get Hugh in here. Tell him how to do it.
Yeah. And they've got a Hugh Grant haircut. The guy's got a Hugh Grant haircut. He talks like this, and it's great to go for a beer. Where do you like? Oh, I love eating in Marylebone. Oh. Basically, what these guys show, what Topjaw shows, and if people don't know what we're talking about, Topjaw, it's an Instagram account, and I don't know. I guarantee the guy's name is something like Barnaby, and we don't know what it is.
I found out what they called last night. I'll look them up. Go on, you keep talking.
So basically, these guys, they run around London. They interview chefs, they interview people on the street, and their whole thing is tell us your favourite places to eat in London. Yeah. But the problem is they somehow manage to only find people that spend 300.
Jesse and Will.
Jesse, so it's Jesse in front of the camera.
I think so.
And they run around interviewing people who somehow spend £200 on dinner twice a month.
Twice a week, some of the way they're talking.
And then look down the camera telling you to do it as if it's not insane.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's the kind of the normalification of eating...
Of insanity.
Of spending £700 a month on dinner.
Yeah.
When there are people in food banks...
Yeah.
Eating from food banks. There are nurses eating from food banks. People can't afford to heat their homes. And... They prove Trump's theory that as long as you never apologise and you never back down, you can't be stopped.
100%.
Because these guys are gagging to be cancelled. They're fucking begging it. And there are a good few Twitter threads being like, those Topjaw guys should have to apologise to the victims of austerity. And do you know what Jesse and Will do? They go, yeah, fuck you. We'll think about that when we're eating at the Devonshire Arms.
Give me another juicy IPA.
Oh.
Can I? And what I think, this is a trend, right? Because we've talked about this with Straker, and we talked about this with What Willie Cooks. These guys get away with it. And because I googled these because I was doing a bit of research. We researched this podcast.
Yeah.
When they first came out, right, they had terrible haircuts and terrible clothes.
And they've changed?
They don't have good... But at that point, they did just look like horrendous posh boys. They look like Josh Berry. They're just like Josh Berry. They look like Josh Berry. Yeah. Now, they've wavy garmdified themselves to the extent where they look kind of not like that. Like they're now in kind of like
just about.
Yeah,
I know
bowling
what you mean.
shirts and like
I know what you mean.
Before they were just wearing like Barbers and boat shoes, and they looked despicable. They managed to cloak themselves in like Supreme and stuff in such a way that it's like makes it vaguely acceptable. But ultimately, like you say, they don't give a fuck what anyone thinks. And ultimately, it's kind of a lesson about cancellation, really, because in theory, this should have stopped years ago.
And we should say, by the way, there were people being like, what, were they racist?
No,
they were. But they're just so unashamed in the way that they promote a level of eating and indeed living that is so unaffordable to 99% of people that it's insane. And as I say, people kind of have been like, this is nuts. Who are you informing?
Yeah.
But those voices are so quiet amongst the millions of people going, yeah.
And you know the other thing as well, it really speaks to a bad part of our like psyche because, and I maybe count myself in this as well, it's because like ultimately no one said fucking stop this because everyone would like to go on and do it. Well, everyone would like to be, actually, it's me that's got the best restaurant recommendations.
Well, this is kind of, so we should talk about this. So like, you and I both come from, Stevenage and from sort of, what would probably be sort of lower income household. And I think you and I would probably nowadays cringe at the idea of really describing ourselves as working class.
Yeah.
We live in sort of zone 2.
From a working
London,
class background, no longer working class.
But now, yeah, exactly. But, and what comes with that sort of social mobility that you and I have probably both gone through to a certain level, although you look at, your parents' ability to own property and own a nice car. Like,
who had the better deal?
Have I won?
I have got a degree.
Yeah. I've got debt. But you should want this stuff.
Right.
And also, it's very London-centric. And you and I both live in London, and as we sort of spoke about in the intro, we sort of like going to a nice place.
Yeah.
But this is nuts.
Yeah, and like my...
And I'd say you and I we earn okay money.
Mm-hmm.
Like we okay. I mean, we're not like rich, but we like as far as people getting by and living in London go, I count myself as being like stupidly privileged.
Yeah, yeah.
And I'm looking at this being like, what the fuck? Like if they do these interviews where they just interview people on the street and go, favourite restaurant in London, and they'll go, ugh, and they just say like something nuts, you know, like the Ivy is good, you know, and like if you just quickly count up what it would cost to eat at the 7 places that one of the posh pricks recommends, you'd be like, gee, that's like a £2,000 holiday.
And like again, I'm insanely privileged in many, many ways, and I look at this and I just think, what is this life? And with some of it, it is celebrities. They're interviewing Ed Gamble. Ed Gamble can eat out every night if he wants to.
Well, we'll talk about that.
But like, I mean, I say this. We went to St. John for my wedding. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And we go once a year on Emma's birthday.
Yeah.
And then if we can scrape like, so we're very
Mate,
lucky to do that.
I'm still reeling from the bill 3 weeks
I
ago.
know, that's
we
what I'm
paid at St.
saying.
John. Yeah.
And it's like these people. It's like you say, we don't have enough to try any new rest. That's why we go there as well, because we don't have enough to try to risk it on somewhere that we don't know is going to be fun or nice. And like, yeah, I'm from an insane level of privilege. I'm a very lucky person, and I have a good life. And I look at this and think, I can't associate with really much of this at all.
No, but then I sort of wonder. I'm like, is that the point? Is like when you watch Topjaw,
everyone would like to think they're like that, wouldn't they?
Well, and everyone, you know, in the same way that like we spoke about food people on this in the past, and you speak about an El Burrito Monster or any of these guys, like even Todd with his cheesy chips, you sit there salivating at the screen.
That's true. It's a vicarious
knowing
thing.
you're not actually going to do it. You're not actually going to eat.
But the thing that people want is they want to be rich enough to do 7 restaurants in a month. They also want to be seen as tasteful enough that someone would ask them where to go.
Yeah.
That's more what people want, I think.
And I think Topjaw is very much that. It's not, you never see food.
No.
You never see them eating.
No, exactly.
They never film the
They're
food.
just talking about it.
But it's also, I think you're right in saying that what's desirable about watching Topjaw isn't actually thinking about eating at any of the places. What's desirable is the idea that you could be that guy who says, oh, have you tried Himalaya? I need to. You know, and I'm sat there going, what the fuck is Himalaya? Right? And we're going to go back to the start when we show the first clip.
Yeah.
This is kind of early Topjaw.
Early Topjaw, I love that.
It's early Topjaw. And,
early Bevo, early Topjaw.
So, like, last week, what was the geezer's name we spoke about last week? Mad American guy with cheesy spikes on his head.
Davis Clark. Clark Davis.
Last week we spoke about Clark Davis. And
so good they named him twice.
So, yeah. And as soon as Clark Davis went viral, every comment was taking the mick out of him.
Yeah.
And
then he put on a Homburg hat.
Yeah, but he was nuts.
Nuts.
Like to look at, you're like, this is fucking crazy. And every comment is like, who is this? I cannot believe that what we're about to watch did not get the same reaction. We watch this now, and it's something that's happening in Britain at the moment, is posh guys are no longer apologising for being posh. They're no longer hiding it in the same ways they used to, and they're somehow getting away with it.
Yeah, watch this. This is early Topjaw. I can't believe they got away with this.
But look, it's all about non-judgment. It's all about a good time.
It's
all about the music and the pints and just smiles. No one's taking themselves serious in there. Oh, no. You ain't getting T.S. Lewis writing a book in this place.
Lewis.
No, sir. You're getting Jesse and Will making a Topjaw, sinking pints with their best mates, having a good time before a stag do, which is tomorrow. Vamos.
What the fuck is he talking about?
That is nuts. He sounds like he's had a stroke. What's the bit at the end where he sort of like wipes his... Is that a coke thing?
I don't know. I don't think so.
But no. And why does he start talking about T.S. Lewis? What is that?
Just chicken pie.
Would you find T.S. Lewis writing in this pub? Whoever thinks that about a pub? Like, if I said to you, there's a decent pub open down the road, what's it like? Well, I mean, T.S. Lewis wouldn't write an E, but like, I beg your pardon?
Excuse me?
What? What are you on about? T.S. Lewis wouldn't fight there, but Jacob and Jake from Screen Rot are going to go in there, sing some bloody pints and smile and have a laugh, and got a stag do tomorrow, and then... What is that? But I guess what I'm getting at is, like, as I said at the start, if Hugh Grant had behaved like that in Notting Hill, the director would have been like, whoa, what, Hugh, tone it down, mate.
You're completely
Come
right.
on.
In
That's
Hugh's
mad.
era...
That's crazy.
Stop.
Not with the hair.
In Hugh's era, his whole thing was like, oh, I'm sorry, I've buggered this up, haven't I? Whoopsie daisy. And it's like he was ashamed of being who he was.
Yes. We like posh guys when they feel ashamed. That's the contract.
But
That's the contract in Britain.
You get to be
we
posh,
like you if
but
you're
I have
sorry.
to be ashamed.
If you're sorry. Every sexy Hugh Grant character is sexy because he hints at the fact he's depressed.
Yes.
And then, the real Hugh Grant, he sort of talks about the Labour Party all the time. He shags brasses and you're like, okay, fair enough. Okay, mate. Even the other one in Love Actually, the other character, the one who marries the French bird who's helping him write his book.
Oh, yeah.
I'm very rich, but I'm very sorry, man.
Yeah.
Even Boris was apologetic to an extent. Even Boris pretended to be sorry. What the fuck is this?
Yeah, they've gone full Trump.
It's just Jesse and Will at the pub. And exactly as you say, it's full, and we're not apologising for it.
No.
We're spending £7 a pint. Like, what in the fucking Six Nations is this? It is terrifying, man. The hair, the teeth.
Yeah.
Why have they all got teeth like
I don't
they look
know.
like fucking Seabiscuit.
There is something about it now where they sound so posh that it's like, are they ill? It's something. It's like, they're either very, very posh or they've had something happen to them.
So
they had a rugby accident.
People have like a car crash, and then they get like imposter syndrome, and they start pretending to be Mr. Bean. That's what's happening. Like, what I wanted to get to with this is he's posher than people who pretend to be posh for a laugh.
Yeah.
Right, and I'm going to show you one now. Like, it was the mention of stag do's at the end that made the light bulb ping in my head, and I was like, oh my god. In the same way that with Clark Davis, I was like, you're what Red Richardson is basing a character on. He is what this character was based on. Everyone will know this.
Deep cut this one.
It's better than what I'm doing. I'm on my iPad. So we did that, and
Just die again. You'll recognise this guy.
So just got back from the greatest weekend of my life. The greatest weekend of my life.
You literally wouldn't blink if Topjaw did that.
Fun. It was amazing. It was basically it was John's stag do. The lads went down to London. He's finally asked Victoria to marry him. By finally, I mean already.
The laugh.
Brilliant.
That's enough. Look, we know it. That Topjaw are a parody of posh people running around London.
Yeah.
Boasting about how often they eat out.
That's more Topjaw than Topjaw is.
Yeah, mate.
It's incredible.
Honestly, I almost wonder if they watched that as a kind of stimulus before they started doing
I'm having
all
a
this
bit of
stuff.
a Brian Butterfield What Willie Cooks moment with that, where I'm like, have they nicked his character?
Yeah, but they're so fucking thick that they don't realise that, like, the guy...
This guy's really cool.
Yeah, but like, I know Tom, and Tom did that because he was taking the piss out of people like that, and they're like, hey, people actually like this. It's like, no, they're laughing at it. They're laughing. They don't like it. They're laughing at it. Well, I'm just going to talk like that on camera. Me and the bloody boys are going for a laugh down this pub, and I love pubs. We love pubs.
Famously.
We love going to the pub.
I love going to the
love
pub.
having a pint. I love but like, you never want to talk about that in a way where you're like, because I'm a bloody legend. Oh god, no, it's not that. It's almost a guilty thing. It's sad. But they romanticize pubs and pints and going for a bloody beer with your chums. They feel like if fucking like Prince William created like a sort of mental health campaign to get the boys down the pub for a beer, then you use this guy as the spokesperson, being like, look guys, it's 2024, things are bloody tough out there, let's get down the pub with your buddies.
It is that, isn't it?
It feels like that.
It's this vibey posh man thing. Just good vibes, down the pub, really nice, good Scotch egg, good quality sausage roll, big pint of stout.
And like, not... And I guess it's they talk about these things as if they have no repercussion. Hangovers don't exist. Doesn't matter if you're late for work because you haven't got a bloody job. Who cares if it's £7 a pint?
This is your job. Yeah.
There's. We'll watch the next one. So the next one is maybe what you might know them for a bit more, which is more the kind of restaurant-y stuff where they go around and they sort of interview people. But and it's often chefs. And I think this guy's a chef.
I think he's an Instagram food creator, but
right.
Close enough.
They've done what Willie cooks as well. But the way they talk, and it's like, everyone plays up to the camera a bit. Like, you and I don't talk like this in normal life. Do you know what I mean? But like,
it would be fucking terrifying if we did.
I mean, listen, speak to our fiance and wife, and they might say, "I fucking do sometimes." He, like, the way he reacts, he's obviously gone, like, they're really built for short form content because he's like he literally is
like a cartoon
I'm going to
character.
make a face or a noise
Yeah, yeah.
after anything you say. You could say anything to him. You could be like, if he would favourite restaurant, you could be like, oh, I don't know, it's a little Italian down my street. Be like, oh, what? You don't even know what I'm talking about. Oh, you're like, stop it.
You taking the piss?
What are you doing? Like, you could say anything to him.
Yeah.
Like, come on, we'll watch this.
This is Topjaw. I think they're talking to. I think it's Ben's Vegan Kitchen.
Best restaurant in London.
Lillenbloom. It's unreal. Best hummus in London for me as well.
Best hummus in London.
That's my place.
Most overrated spot in London.
Mallow. Everyone loves it. Terrible food, terrible service.
Oh, terrible.
Terrible. Yeah, I went there once and it was the worst meal I've had in a very long time.
Some people tread so carefully with ours. Terrible food. Best Italian.
Paysan. I think it means peasant. So it's like Italian peasant food. They do it beautifully.
Most outrageous value.
Taria, it's a Japanese supermarket, effectively. They basically provide all the fish of all of the sushi restaurants in London, and they serve it there. The quality is amazing. You can eat.
It's
like
got a
king
real
for like
coked up
30
vibe, doesn't it?
Best Sunday.
I'm interested.
The Bull and Gate. They do a really good vegan Sunday roast, and they've got vegan Yorkies too, which they're not great, but it's nice that they have it.
Good enough. Best coffee spot.
I get really bad caffeine anxiety, so I just can't drink it.
Shut up.
It's great. It sounds a terrible thing to say. A decaf oat latte.
It does sound
It's
terrible.
The piranhas in the comments.
Gales.
It's gonna be like best cocktail spot.
I really like double standard. It's like Soho House, but without all the wankers.
Oh my god.
Best
What does that even mean?
Can I say that?
Unbelievable burgers. I don't really like burgers either. I'm a terrible host. Host? Guest? You're that.
There you go,
Dude.
Most underrated spot.
Tofu vegan.
People rave about.
In terms of Chinese food, it's better than places like Singapore Gardens. It's literally incredible. And it just so happens to be vegan.
The worst tourist trap.
Spaghetti House. I've never eaten there, but why would I? I'm not a tourist.
Oh,
yeah,
cool, man.
I'm not a tourist. I live here. I've
Yeah,
got
those
loads of
fucking
money.
idiots that come down from
Give me your
Newcastle and they eat at Spaghetti House because it's an affordable and nice place to eat for them. Fucking idiots.
Yeah, and that I think you've just hit on something that they really. They really pierce the idea that you could go out to eat and it's less about the food and more about just having a nice time with people.
Yeah, yeah.
Like we've spoken on when we did the Bevo episode, we were saying how we love a harvester.
Love a
because
harvester.
a harvester, you're not there being like, oh, it's the greatest Thousand Island sauce I've ever eaten.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
you're just like, yeah, it's decent, but it's cheap enough for having a nice time. Everyone's relaxed. Like, I don't think he's ever enjoyed eating with people. Like it's all like. Imagine how exhausting it'd be to go on a date with that guy.
Oh my god! But it's like the layers of irony and the layers of self-awareness that the guests on Topjaw have now is unbearable. It's like it's like being crushed under the weight of like a black hole. It's like being crushed up like a little can because it's like layers upon layers of it. So you've got guys, right, like him. So he is.
He's
kind
a
of
cunt.
but he's unself-aware enough now to be like, yeah, I'm actually like a food influencer and I'm going to give you like these trendy, unheard of places. That's not cool on Topjaw now. People now go on Topjaw and the cool people say like when they go like best burger in London, they go McDonald's. Do you know what I mean? And it's like, so I don't know which one's worse there. I think he might be worse because he thinks he's like giving us gifts from the mountain
Well, he
top.
kind of did that with Gales as well, didn't he? He was
Oh,
like,
Gales?
look, I
I
don't
don't
want
know.
to apologise, decaf, lots of Gales. He's
Gales.
like, the piranhas in the comments section are going to come for you. What the fuck are you on about?
Shut up!
Like, if we were to do this, if I was to say to you, if I just quickly, would you mind just opening your WhatsApp?
Oh yeah, I can get
there?
I can get the thing on here.
Like, let's just like I think to show that we're.
But
not-
how are we going to get through this now? Because I'm going to be crushed under the weight of a thousand suns.
I don't know.
Just scroll back through all the horrendous stuff Jacob
what we're
sent
gonna do,
me.
we're going to do a quick top jaw on each other, right?
Okay.
And just try and be honest.
All right.
And I think what it will reveal is that when people are honest about their favourite stuff,
Yes.
it's not content worthy.
No.
And as soon as you start putting cameras and microphones in front of people and being like, this will go viral because we love talking about bloody good food, I think it just creates falsehood.
Also, I don't have an answer for half of this.
Exactly. Right. Best restaurant, honestly, what your favourite restaurant?
Said John.
St. John.
So that is a wanker one. That's a wanker
Yeah,
move.
yeah, but you used to get discounts. Fair enough.
Best bar. I don't go to. I haven't been to a bar in years.
Best bar. What are you on about? What does that mean? Like if you're meeting up with your mates,
Is
who are
that distinguished from a pub?
fuck knows. Maybe, but
Isn't
but
there a
like-
bar in Camden that people go to when it's like after hour? Or like, isn't it called like Sloppy Joe's or something?
No, oh yeah, Joe's. It's crap.
Is it? It's like that's like you go there because there's literally nowhere else to go.
It's the only
like-
place that stays open.
That's the
in
only place I would know.
Camden.
I haven't
But-
been there for about 7
But like,
years.
say pub or bar or anything, but like everyone's kind of got a favourite, but like the best, I don't know. You didn't.
If the answer to best bakery for you is not the one closest to my house, you've
something
gone
wrong
mental.
with you. Yeah, there's something wrong with you. That's literally, I was going to say that with that one. Like, cause I was sort of thinking about this the other day. And I was like, what is the best bakery in London? And I sort of caught myself and I was like,
Who
what
cares?
the fuck are you talking about? Like, when I buy bread, I don't think to myself, where can I get the best bread?
Yeah,
I
yeah.
don't. I'm just like, well, the kids need toast.
Yeah, yeah.
So I'm going to go to the shop and buy.
But
bread.
this is the thing. It's
Best
like you're.
coffee in London. I get it off the fucking supermarket. Where do I go for coffee? I don't know. Wherever's local.
They also the next one, most overrated spot, St John. Best cocktail. I fucking hate the use of the word spot as well.
Spot. Which spot do you head to for cocktails? I don't know. It depends.
Go
who
for
I'm
cocktails
meeting.
once a year.
I haven't been for a fucking cocktail in ages. Basically, when I'm walking back from an event on the way to a tube station, if there's a hotel that's open,
Yeah.
I'll buy a £50 bottle of wine.
Wine.
And regret it the next day when I'm in hospital.
Have
I
3
don't
roll-ups.
Have a favourite spot.
Right,
else
let's get
is
through
there?
them. Best coffee. You've said.
Best, I don't fucking know.
No, I don't know.
What does that mean?
I don't know.
Where do I go for coffee? I mean, look, I go to Big Joe sometimes because it's local, it's around the corner, and I feel bad because people have said that. I feel like crying. It's horrible.
If you told everyone you're Topjaw, they would be able to work out exactly where you live because it'd be.
It'd all just be within like a 20
200
metre
metres.
radius of my house. Just dox myself.
Worst tourist trap.
I don't know. What would you? Where's the worst tourist? The tube?
But I like with a
What does that
tourist
mean?
trap. Like if you're a tourist, the function of chain restaurants is you know what you're gonna get. So I wouldn't include any of the chains in that because I feel like an Angus Steakhouse or a Pizza Express or a whatever, they are for tourists. A tourist trap would be like a place that's purporting to be like a mum and pop place.
or even a kind of like somewhere that's sort of trending. Do you know, 'cause
Exactly,
people
yeah.
are coming in for that. Like, what's that smash burger everyone eats at the
Exactly,
moment?
yeah.
Supernova.
I think they
is
mentioned
it?
that there.
Yeah,
That's a tourist trap.
That's a tourist trap, but then that's what they're trying to get us to.
Yeah.
That's what they
Paid,
want.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They've paid Eating with Todd $4,000 to have one of their burgers, and now they're booked out for the next 100 years. That's all of them.
Best Sunday roast.
Best Sunday roast.
I've been to the one that guy said. Bull and Gate is fine.
Is it right?
They're all right. Sometimes good. Sometimes I don't know. It just makes me feel so anxious. I don't know. I don't think about eating out in the way that they do.
What I think this is the thing as you get older, you fundamentally lose certain things that you then find it very difficult. Not you, we people to empathise with. There would have been a time, I think, when I was in my mid-20s where I would have liked to have been able to say, oh, I've tried Supernova. Now it holds so little currency for me that I have like the idea of having to leave my house at all, apart from to go to St John on Emma's birthday, June 26th every year, is no thanks, I'm good. There's a bakery near us where the queue on a Saturday morning, it must be 45 minutes long.
And I bet for that reason you don't go.
I don't go.
Yeah. Like, I think that's the thing about them is that they talk about going out and eating out as if either necessity or practicality are never a consideration for anyone. You know?
Yeah.
And I guess maybe there'd be like sort of real foodies listening to this being like, well, that's how you should think about it. You should think about what you're going to eat and enjoy.
And everyone wants to think they're a foodie, but they're not. You're
Yeah.
just a person that needs to have a curry with your wife.
And that's it. Right, okay. And that's hit the fucking nail on the head there. None of the shit they ever talk about is ever better than a curry. I guarantee you now. So I don't think Josh, our mate who we went to St John's with the other day, would listen. And I'm sure if he did, he wouldn't mind. Jack, the geezer who brought him a picture of the Pope. Me and Jack had a chat the next day, and we were like, "That's good last night, wasn't it?" He's like, "Yeah." We were like, "Yeah, it was good." And then after a while, we were like chatting about it enough that we were like, we sort of trust each other to be honest. And I was just like, it's just not as good as a curry.
I do think a curry has that thing of, you know, in Peep Show, Jeremy has the red wine. He's like, oh, that's lovely. I mean, it's not as nice as a Coke, but it's
Yeah.
Like, every meal I've almost ever been out for is like, is it nicer than like the curry the curry house that's nearest your house?
No,
This
No, ever.
Is that drink as good as the Cobra that comes with a curry on a Saturday? Probably not.
No.
Tough to beat.
You're like, and this is real kind of like Luddite way of thinking about food, but like you never taste as many things and you're never as full up as when you've been to a curry. That's what I love, man. You come out of a curry, someone has to wheel you out. You spend 4 hours the next morning shitting yourself to death. And that mate.
That's why you can't go on Topjaw, because theirs is like, where will look good on Instagram? What's got the most flavorful palate? Yours is, how many different things can I eat? And how ill am I going to feel afterwards because I've eaten so much? Your answer to all of them would be the Pizza Hut buffet or my nearest curry house, I think. And I respect that.
I had a conversation with like people who are wealthier than me, like this kind of conversation once. It was like a comedy thing, like with comedians and stuff, and they're all like, you know, a bit wealthy, and they're all doing this thing of being like, yeah, have you been to that cafe? Oh, what about the River Cafe? That's like Italian food. And yeah, blah, blah, blah. Jacob, what about you? What's your favourite thing to eat? And I was like, don't know, like, I like a dansak. There just isn't anything better. And I think anyone who says that there is lying.
I agree. I'm just really worried now because, look, I'm a wanker. I'm as big a wanker as the Topjaw guys. I go to St. John on Emma's birthday. I don't claim to know anything about food. I know that they treat me nicely there, and it's nice to go there for a treat once a year. I have a consideration of the aesthetic that I put out when I go there. I also don't want to be like, I'm just a curry bloke, me. I like Guinness.
I'm trying not to be that. I am trying not. I know exactly what you're saying. There's nothing cringier than being like, food's a load of shit. Just give me a fucking curry.
But this is exactly exhausting. It's so exhausting to be like, is the hummus better than at Berenjack? Who fucking cares?
What are you on about?
What does that even mean?
Hummus doesn't even taste of anything.
I can't have a favourite hummus.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you've lost your mind. If one of us, we should create like a pact. You know, people who are like, if I get to 30 and I'm single, we're going to marry each other. You and I should create a pact of like, if we ever get to a point where we have a famous hummus, we have to take each other to like a field and shoot each other.
Yeah. You can have a favourite beer. You can have a favourite wine. You can have a favourite pizza.
You can have a favourite curry.
You can have a favourite curry. You can. People do it. You can't have a favourite hummus.
What the fuck are you? There are people in the Middle East right now who created hummus who are like...
Yeah, they're all the same. Look, I just, it's very exhausting. And I just think if you're out there and you're thinking, I need to have a favourite hummus, I need to know the difference between Berenjack and St. John. You don't. Just find somewhere you like. And if you can afford it, go. It doesn't matter. Don't queue for 45 minutes to have some bread. No bread is that good.
But this is the thing, though. I would say I've tried maybe 20 to 30% of the places they kind of mention here.
Right.
I'm getting to an age and a stage in my life where sometimes it's easier to sell out.
Yeah.
Sometimes you have to look at your day, your week, and your life and say, you know what? I can dig my heels in and make us go to the Sitara, which again is 20 yards from my house. But I do think it's the best Indian in London. And it's, Raji runs it. He's a really nice guy, and I really get on. I'll go there, and he'll ply me with beer, and he'll give me some free whiskey at the end, and I'll have, a really spicy curry, and I'll be next to dead the next morning.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's easier just to accept that the Topjaw guys have not backed down, they've not apologised, and they're winning.
Yeah.
And the wave of current opinion is dragging you out to St. John's, where you're going to have chickpeas with a bit of white fish on top. It doesn't really taste of anything. You'll pay £34 for it. Or a fucking cheese toasted they call rare bit.
Yeah.
This next one is the closest that Topjaw have had to backlash.
Yes.
And after we watch it, I will tell you why it makes me feel so horrendous.
This one is amazing.
This went a bit viral.
So what Stanley Pubs has done really well is take old pubs, like proper old drinking man's pubs, the ones that have sticky carpet you can wring out, fruit machines and zero atmosphere, and turn them into these. Lovely, welcoming gastro pubs with wooden tables, flowers, loads of beers on tap, and the only menus are these on the chalkboards, which change more time than I change my pants. So like once a month.
Now, there's a few insane things he says there.
Incredible.
First of all, old drinking man's pubs. I have never heard
That's
the
my
phrase,
granddad you're talking about.
I've never heard the phrase drinking man in my life, and I've never identified with anything more.
Yeah.
And the pubs he talks about, the kind of sticky carpet, the ones he really shits on, let's be honest, we fucking love. They are, again, without wanting to sound like an old working class legend, they are the best fucking pubs in the world. And the reason I really hate myself is that I drink at the pub he's standing in. He's talking about Stanley Pubs, which are a chain of pubs around North London.
Right.
They've got the Tufnell Park Tavern.
Wooden tables and flowers, I've heard.
Yeah, and the beers are nearly £8. And you know what? It's just easier.
Just got to go with it.
It's just.
But this is what I'm saying. It's like you can either be a Topjaw person who is lacking in self-awareness and is therefore like, look at this beautiful gastropub, or you can be a sneering South London cunt and be like, oh, that nice, well-lit pub is not good.
Yeah, and
I don't want to pretend. There's a group of South London people that are very prominent on Instagram. You might know who they are. Some of them are novelists. Some of them are writers of long-form pieces. And the way that they fetishize old man pubs
I know who you're talking about now. Yeah.
is almost as bad as how Topjaw are like.
It's so patronising.
Oh
the
my
way they're
God.
like, the Camberwell Arms, it's just so hearty and
Scahands.
real. It's like,
I like
fuck
to go
off.
to Scahands.
You've got an arts degree, fuck off. But I think what you've hit on is the truth we're trying to get out with this episode is that
We fucking hate everyone. We're good. Everyone else is bad. Fuck all of you.
we exist in the grey space that lies between the drinking man's pub
Drinking man's pubs.
and the posh
And the Stanleys.
One thing I love is where it's like you could be in a nice gastropub with an atmosphere like this and there's just no one there. It's just like empty. No atmosphere at all.
I like it here because there's no poor people here whatsoever.
Horses for courses. On a Saturday night when you're with your mates, you want to be sticky carpet. You want there to be, what does he say, like slot machines or whatever.
It's like, it says slot machines like it's like there's a child pornography booth
Yeah,
in the
yeah.
pub. Oh, slot
Yeah,
machines.
drinking man's
That's
pubs.
how we pay for the pub.
That's what you want on a Saturday. On a Thursday when you're taking the missus out for dinner or you've got the kids with you.
Then you're in a Stanley
I'm
pub.
sorry, pay a bit more money. Go to one of those pubs.
And look, everyone is a wanker. There's no
Yes.
good version of this.
But the way to avoid being like these guys or the people you describe who really fetishize I love going to cheap pubs. Don't let either a drinking or an eating establishment become your personality.
That's it. That's the message. That's the real
that's
quiz.
it. The Topjaw lads have become these kind of Notting Hill Hugh Grant wannabes who think the fact that they go out to fucking eat 3 times a month is their personality.
You're right.
It's not. What the fuck?
Where's the wisdom bell? Who's got the wisdom bell?
In the same way that you get these hipsters who wear sovereign rings. I'm just about to slide my sovereign ring off.
Or
you know what I'm
fucking
talking about.
cunts that have their wedding at St. John. It was only 10 people. Don't have a go at me.
And he got a discount, I bet.
Little bit of dicky discount.
But don't let it become your personality. You don't need to be, normal people eat at both McDonald's and St. John's. And if you're
And
as
that's
normal as us,
fine.
you do it in the same night because you're a greedy fucking pig and then you go to hospital the next day.
I'm a wanker. Jacob's a wanker. I'm the biggest wanker in London. You're a wanker. Go fuck yourself.
Thanks, everyone. See you next week.